Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me, my name is Carmel Eve, and for today's video we are going to do a book review, and this is going to be in two parts. One is for all the books that I read in November, and the other one is all the books that I read in December, but it's still going to be compiled in one video. So a while ago I posted in my Facebook story asking you guys if I should do a book review or not, and most of you guys voted for a super yes. So here we are. I already segregated the video into different sections, so you can just skip to the part of whatever book you want to hear a review in. And also you can check out my Facebook profile under the highlights section. There are also some of the book reviews I made, and just check it out under the title Book Recs and Revs. That's it, let's go. So I was quite busy in the month of November, but these are all the books that I read. And we are going to review the first one, You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle. I've read a lot of romance books for the past few years, but it's always the same plot, like the characters meeting each other for the first time, then falling in love, the sparks are there, the jittery feeling is present, and butterflies are fluttering around their abdomen, and when they got together, the story ends. But this one, it already starts with Naomi and Nicholas already as a couple, and they're already engaged to be exact, and to be wedded in 3 months' time. However, as how Naomi would describe it, the relationship is bland and they've fallen out of love, as how she describes it. But they can't break off their engagement since either one of them will have to shoulder the expenses incurred by the preparation for their wedding, and trust me, the cost is not cheap. And I really like this book. The build-up is so fulfilling, and when they got together again, it's just like, yes! Finally, it's like the first time. And spoiler alert, there was a specific line that I really love. It was Nicholas' line. He said that, "I've always loved you, Naomi. I never stop." Overall, I give this book a 3.5 rating, and second chance romance, friends to lovers trope. Check it out. The next book that I read in the month of November was quite the contrary of You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle. This one is Layla by Colleen, Hoover, and it is a paranormal romance. It starts off with Leeds and Layla, and they met in Layla's sister's wedding, and of course they hooked up, but then it turned into a more serious relationship. But after a few months, like, I thought the relationship was really cute, but something happened to Layla. She got into an unfortunate accident, and it caused a 360 degrees turn in their relationship. And I almost DNF'd it halfway through the book because I was tortured. Because spoiler alert, this is, I think, TMI, already too much information. Like, I really thought that Leeds was cheating on Layla. But then I just finished it. Overall, I give this a 3 out of 5 stars rating, because I really thought that Leeds was cheating on Layla, but the ending answered all of my questions. The third book that I read in November was Love and Gelato by Jenna Welch. I have mixed reviews and mixed emotions about this book because there are quite scenes that I liked. There are also scenes that I disliked, but overall I give this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars because the parts that I liked were her mother's experiences, like through her journals, because her mother died because of pancreatic cancer, and Carolina was asked to go to Italy to meet her dad for the first time, whom she didn't even knew about for the past years of her existence. So yeah, she also met this cute guy named Lorenzo, but the scenes that includes these two individuals, Carolina and Lorenzo, made me infuriated. Because I didn't really like the relationship because they got together at the end. Sorry, spoiler alert again. I didn't really like Lorenzo's move. Like, who breaks up with their girl whom he pursued for 2 years and just breaks up with them randomly to be with another girl. The parts that saved the book was her mother's experiences through her journals, because it will show you a lot of pain, heartbreak, sacrifice. That's it. The last book that I read in the month of November was Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. Sally Thorne was also the author of The Hating Game. This is a story about Ruthie and Theodore. Like, they met first time at a convenience store, and Ruthie asked the cashier why Theodore was lurking around the gas station. So this is like their first time meeting, and the cashier told Ruthie that the cashier was waiting a chance to call the police once Theodore runs for the goods. Ruthie, as a good Samaritan, pays for the goods, and when she went back to her car, and as supposed to be what Theodore is doing, he thanks her but actually makes a negative impression towards her because he thought that she was an old lady. She walked out on that, and they met again at the workplace of Ruthie because he was the son of the owner of where Ruthie was working. Their story starts from there: friends to lovers, grumpy sunshine trope. And I rated this a 3.75 out of 5 stars rating. These are all the books that I read in the month of December. It's quite a lot. I read a total of 9 books, and we are going to start with The Holiday Switch by Tiff Marcelo. The first book that I read in the month of December is The Holiday Switch by Tiff Marcelo, and I rated this book a 5 out of 5 stars, and it is from an enemies to friends to lovers trope, and a story of Layla and Theodore. Not Theodore from Second First Impressions, okay? This one is a Filipino. So to all of my fellow Filipinas and Filipinos out there, this is the book that we can really empathize with, because from the language to the food to the expressions and to the culture, it really screams Filipino. And we have this collectivist culture most Easterners do, that we really value family in an extreme way. So I really see that in this book, and it really hits different when it is written by an international author. Of course, I love local books also, but it really hits different because you can really sense that I've read a lot of books, like from Hispanic culture to Spanish culture and to Greek culture. I've read a lot of books that involves those different kinds of culture, but it really feels refreshing and new to see Filipino culture being incorporated in an international book. The second book that I read for this month is Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey, and this book, along with The Holiday Switch, really fits the season for this month, which is the holidays. And this is a story of Stella and Aiden, and Stella was actually an ex-convict, and when she was released, she found herself roaming around the streets of New York, and she found herself in front of a window of a department store. And when she was in front of this window from a department store, she was not really impressed by the decor of the window. Instead, she was criticizing it. And she didn't knew that beside her was Aiden, which is the general manager of the store, but she didn't knew that. And when he found her, he was really attracted to her. It was attraction at first sight. I don't know, I can't tell if it is really love at first sight. But yeah, he was attracted to her immediately. And when she criticizes the window, instead of being pissed off because he is the general manager of that store, he was impressed. So he asked her to do a job interview for this store, which is Vivant, the name of the store. Their story goes on from there. I rated this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Grumpy Sunshine Trope. It is a reverse arrangement. Like, instead of the male lead character being the grumpy one, he is the sunshine one, while the grumpy one is the female lead character. This is the third book that I read for this month. It is entitled All Your Perfects by none other than Colleen Hoover. This book made me sob. Let me tell you, this is a story of Graham and Quinn, and they met in a bizarre or unexpected scenario. Like, they met while their boyfriend and girlfriends are cheating behind their backs, and of course they met because they confronted them, and of course they broke up with their now former boyfriend and girlfriends, and they healed, and after a few months, I think it was 6 months if I'm not mistaken, they met again, and of course they're soulmates. They had a relationship and then eventually got married. However, all things went downhill when Quinn experienced infertility, and it led to depression and anxiety. And of course, Graham also made a mistake. He cheated on her. He kissed a girl not just once but twice. And I believe that once is a mistake, but twice is already a decision or a choice. I rated this a 4.5 out of 5 stars because I didn't really like the part where Graham cheated on her, because I also believe in the quote that once a man cheats, he will cheat again, most likely. The fourth book that I read for this month is this book. Yes, you saw it right. It is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And of course, the story is all about the seven husbands of Evelyn Hugo. But let me tell you, Evelyn Hugo is a very interesting character. She is like a mixture of being an empiricist and also realist at the same time. But overall, the book was spectacular. I rated it a 5 out of 5 stars. And I also teared up in the last pages of the book. But not really the same as All Your Perfects, because I literally sobbed with that book. But this one, it made me tear up. And it will slap you with the word reality on your face. Okay, and I don't want to spoil too much. I just really love this book, so please read this immediately. Highly recommend. This is not my preferred genre, but I still liked it. The next book that I read is this one, To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo, and it is a story of Lyra and Alien. Lyra is a siren princess and Alien is a prince and also a pirate or a sailor at the same time. And this is an enemies to lovers, then enemies again to lovers again trope. And this book is really good. I rated this a 5 out of 5 stars because it really screams the word fantasy overall. Lyra, as a siren princess, they had this tradition wherein every year she had to take a prince's heart. Since she is royalty, then she has to take a prince's heart to pay tribute to the previous sea queen or goddess Gelato. And Alien, on the other hand, is a siren killer. He kills sirens because he deems them as evil. And to add fuel to the fire, one of his role models, Christian, died because his heart was taken by a siren. And of course, it was taken by Lyra because she is siren royalty. And what happens when the two meet? Please read this book. Highly recommend. After I read To Kill a Kingdom, the next book that I read was this one, Tokyo Ever After by Emiko. I also rated this a 5 out of 5 stars because it's really wholesome, because it's like the Princess Diaries version 2.0. It is a story of Izumi Tanaka, and when she knew that her father was indeed the crown prince of the imperial family of Japan, she immediately contacted her father, and in just a week her whole life turned upside down. Like, she was being sent to Japan, being interviewed with the press, she had to learn the culture of Japan, everything in it, and she also found love. Anyway, this book is so good. Please read this one immediately. After reading Tokyo Ever After, the next book that I read is Every Last Word by Tamara Stone. This book, however, is lacking for me, but overall I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars because it deals with mental health, conquering your own fears, fighting our own battles, dealing with fake friends and real friends at the same time. And there is also a plot twist at the end, and the main character here is Samantha McAllister, and she has mental health issues. She always overthinks things, which is also like me, and she deals with anxiety all the time. Anyway, this book can still be recommended. I just realized that I actually read so many books this month. Anyway, the next book that I read is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I read this in one sitting because I'm just too hooked by this book because it's really good. I also rated this a 5 out of 5 stars, mystery, thriller genre. And the main character in here is Pippa Fitz-Amobi, and she has this final year project and she decides to investigate a case that was already closed. And the case involves Andy Bell, who was missing 5 years ago in this book. And everyone believed that the killer was her boyfriend Sal, but Pippa believes otherwise and she wants to prove Sal's innocence. The more she found out, the more her life is in danger. So what happens in this book? Is there only one murderer, 2 murderers, 3 murderers? And is Andy still alive? Well, read this book. You will find out. I also read Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire. I heard a lot of issues about the author of this book, but we will not dig deeper than that. We will just talk about the book. Anyway, this book is like a Wattpad story, but it's still good. and I rated this a 4.75 out of 5 stars. And it's like the player falls in love with the only girl that does not even try to glance at him trope. Like that. Anyway, this book is also good. I would definitely recommend it, but I don't know if you want to support an author that has her own issues, but in a professional level, I would still read this book. That's it. And that's basically it for all the books that I read in the month of November and December. I hope you enjoyed the video even though it's quite long, and we'll find a book that will actually suit your taste and enjoy it. Bye!